Good afternoon, everybody. Today, we get a chance to talk to Panagiotis Vouzis of NetBeez. I guess it stings you if you don't behave. And, of course, our host always is Denny Mew. Go ahead, Dr. Mew.
Thank you, thank you. We should do this, Dr. O'Neill. It hurts when I do this. What do I do? So welcome to the show. This is in fact our first show in 2016, and we want to welcome back an old friend, Dr. Panos Vouzis.
It's been a while since I've been called a doctor, but
I know.
To remember, you know.
I know. I stopped putting the PhD in my name because I actually did one time had a stewardess come to me for help and on the plane, so I said I'm the wrong kind of doctor.
Well, I've been called a doctor by a real doctor. You're like, Dr. Vouzis? I'm like, really? I mean, at the hospital, right?
Yeah. So enough about me. So again, welcome to the show, and thank you for spending time with us. Now you're one of the three co-founders of a very exciting company called NetBeez, and so give us an update since you've been on the show last year. What have you been doing, and quickly tell us, what is it that you do anyway?
Yeah, thank you for having me, first of all. It's been actually exactly a year since our last show, and we have several updates. So just to give, freshen up everybody's memory with what we do at NetBeez. So we're a young company. We do network monitoring from the user perspective, so it's real user monitoring. And we address the problem that many companies and network folks have, that they don't know what's going on at every remote office with the user experience. And to put this a little bit in perspective, we know that SNMP has been there for 2-3 decades now, and it gives you the information about your routers and switches, and that's invaluable, right? You need to know if something fries. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that if the router is up or the switch is working fine, everything is in green on your SNMP dashboard, that the users really have good experience, they can access the internet, there are no maybe wrong firewall rules or filtering that doesn't let them do their job, right? So we capture this experience from many locations, and we let you know how things are going on. If you have issues, who and where are users that are affected with any issues, right?
I call it baselining. Remember in the old days when we used to always say baseline everything, and in those days we really didn't know what baselining meant. We knew it was cool. We figured out, but now in baselining, if you see any deviation, and certainly with your product, which I have running right here, you can easily see something's changing, and that usually means it's time to take a look at what's going on in your network.
Yeah. Panos, I actually remember the last time we spoke, you had just been selected as a contributor for Interop in Las Vegas, and your product was deployed all through the network, and you were a very essential part of the monitoring management team. So tell us, maybe as a point of reference, tell our audience how that worked out, and what was it that you actually deploy, and what value you actually brought to the NOC team.
Definitely, and you Danny, you're familiar with the group there, with the gang at Interop. So we're part of the network operating center there, and we participate in the hot stage. So we set up everything around February in San Francisco, monitoring, networking, virtualization, and everything was moved in Las Vegas in April for the real show, right? So we were there, part of the network operating center, monitoring from all the floors of the event. It's a big event, 12,000 attendees, 400 exhibitors, and we're monitoring, of course, the trader show floor, so make sure that all the exhibitors have connectivity, so that they can run their demos with their customers, with the attendees, right? All in addition, all their attendees, right, have access, Wi-Fi access to do their job while they're on the trade show. And actually, that was the first big test for our wireless monitoring agents that we introduced around February of last year. So it was a great experience. Apart from the technical part, the crowd there is amazing, and we're participating this year as well. And we'll be happy to see your audience, people, to come and stop by our booth there.
So you're going back for the second year?
Definitely, yeah, definitely, yes.
Well,
That's great.
that is a tremendous validation.
Yeah.
That they're allowing you to come back, and
Well, it's a huge compliment, Denny, because you don't, if you're not helpful, you don't get invited back to the knock, because that knock is really like a bee's hive. I'm really serious. It's
well, I think, I mean, you and I know about interop, and you of course have been there many times, and the saying about fool me once, right?
right.
And they don't even bother to say the rest. So to be invited back is a tremendous. I congratulate you, Panos, and your colleague.
Thank you.
So maybe that's a good leading point, a good sort of leading off point to talk about your new product, because that was a real. I suspect that when you were at Interop last year, it was both the inspiration and the testing ground for this new product now, right? The NetBeez Wi-Fi version, right?
Yes, and I can give you a quick overview of that. So, I mean, we started by doing wired monitoring, and we use, I mean, everybody knows about the Raspberry Pi now, right? We use the hardware, this low-cost hardware, to deliver our agent, monitoring agent. Actually, Tim has one of these right now in his desk over there. I shipped one a couple of weeks ago. There it is. And so Tim is using now an agent of this kind, it's a wired agent, to do some simple things, right? Ping Google, ping the Apple Store, ping a cloud application, and make sure that from his perspective, from his office over there, he can access all these resources, right? And actually, I can spy on him a little bit from the dashboard, because I know what's the performance of his network, right?
So I won't be going out to any porn sites while you're watching it.
Okay, we don't do that much of monitoring, but yeah, don't do it. So that was the starting point for us, and after popular demand, actually it started from the universities, right? So we talked to several universities along the first year of our launch, and they were like, guys, we like what you do, great product, but we are a university here. The Wi-Fi is what everybody lives on right here, right? Students, faculty, 80% of the staff is on Wi-Fi, right?
And all the hackers.
Everybody. So they want to make sure for themselves, right, that they can have the ability to monitor the Wi-Fi connectivity and performance from different dorms, from different offices, office buildings, a campus, satellite campuses, right? And that was the first motivation for us to look for the Wi-Fi version of NetBeez. And we introduced that actually in February of last year, so it's almost a year that's been out now. And the only thing you do is you have the same agent that we use for the wired monitoring, and you plug in a Wi-Fi dongle, and you have now a wireless bee. We call them Beez, okay? And now this wireless bee can connect with the Wi-Fi interface on the wireless network, and then we can use the wired interface for communication with the server to send all the information, but also you can have a wireless-only agent where you can, if you're going to troubleshoot, let's say, an issue that came up yesterday in a remote office or in a boardroom, right? You can drop off an agent there, collect information about the wireless communication between the agent and the access point, and remember here that this agent acts as another client in your network. So you know how the users in the same boardroom experience the wireless network, and if something goes wrong, you get notified about it.
You can start apologizing right away to the CEO before he tells you there's a problem.
Yeah. Some people use, actually, for some high-profile people in the company, they use these in the executives' houses, right, to make sure that they're connected all the time, because of course for them it's important to have 100% connectivity, right?
Yeah, and that's also can be used for so many different things. I mean, you could even use it in your home to make sure that your Wi-Fi alarm system and monitoring system is up all the time, and it will let you know if there's somehow it gets shut down.
Yeah, I mean, I've shipped the agents to my parents. Well, I'm from Greece originally, right?
Right.
So they have like an agent there monitoring their wireless. So when we Skype, I know what's going on there.
Well, I think the big thing about wireless is we keep forgetting about how integrated wireless is into our networks. We tend to look at our networks as a LAN being transported over a WAN, but we forget, and we've experienced this so much, haven't we, Denny, on these kind of interviews where they'll be on a wireless and it just won't have the connectivity. It'll be breaking up. And by the way, I was also talking to someone the other day who has a very large IP phone network. And I asked him, why don't you have a NetBeez? Because you could tell if you're getting hit, okay, because your Wi-Fi has to share your network. And if something starts going wrong in your network, you know it's going to take down your telephone system. And you want to be prepared for that. So this is really cool. Now, I was talking the other day to someone you were talking to, and they reminded me that currently you don't do AC, which is brand new and very difficult to manage for anybody. But you will soon have AC, right? That'll be your next big step.
Yes, I mean we've been listening to customers, and they start talking about AC more and more. I mean, it's out there right now. They start deployments, so AC is in the pipeline to come in the next couple of months.
That's fantastic, because at Interop you're going to find a lot of companies that have some of their management now using AC to communicate with their routers, their switches, trying to build a different plane of a safer plane is what they think. AC is pretty difficult to right now hit, but you can attack it.
Yeah, definitely, and we keep improving the product. Right now, we're listing our next version in a couple of weeks, and you will be able, with the Wi-Fi specifically, you will be able to make the agent connect to a specific access point, because when it roams around as a regular client or laptop, you don't get to decide where your laptop connects to, right?
Right.
So often people ask us, hey, I'm gonna troubleshoot a specific access point, but the agent wouldn't connect there because it has a stronger signal from another access point. So we'll give the ability to connect there and troubleshoot specific access points.
Right. That's awesome. Now, you actually, I was kind of amazed when I was looking at your Cloud 10 cost. Your cost for the amount of capability is very low, in my humble estimation. So your product value is huge. People should be looking at this everywhere, because, I mean, first off, no network manager I know has time to be baselining his network on a regular basis. And they usually find out that something has happened pretty far after the events happen. That's why people like me that worked in networks don't have any hair, because we kept going, oh no, and this gives an incredible picture. So I think this is awesome. I can't wait till you get to the AC part. I can't wait to see that.
Do you have a minute to show you a very quick, like 5-minute demo,
Sure.
how it looks like?
Okay, sure. Yeah, we look forward to that.
Okay, let me share my screen here.
You're not going to show them what I'm doing on my computer right now, are you? I'm just kidding.
No.
You're welcome to, trust me.
Okay, just a second.
I did have one question. Can I change the port, or can I ask for the port to be changed?
Yes, we can do that.
Okay.
Let me know, and we can take care of
No.
it.
Yeah, it's fine. I opened up my port for it, this morning on my firewall. So.
Okay, so we're seeing your screen now.
Console.
You can see my screen.
Yeah, we're seeing it.
Your console.
Yeah, your console.
Okay, just a second to Okay, so here's the dashboard. Okay, you can see here each one of these thumbnails is an agent. Okay, As you can see here, we have a mix of agents. Obviously, these are the wireless ones, the ones with the wireless icon. The ones with the plug are the ones that are the typical fast Ethernet agents. We recently introduced also virtual agents. So you can spin up a NetBeez agent in your data center if you want. Instead of using a hardware device, you can use a virtual agent.
Wow.
And also have external agents. So if you have Google, AWS, or Azure Cloud, you can spin up an agent there and monitor then, from that cloud infrastructure what's going on towards your network, or from the outside of your network perimeter, monitor maybe your website or other resources you want that are important for you. So now, as you can see here, all agents are actually in pretty good shape right now. I have here the agent in Milan going on and off. It just, if you saw, it just went from red back to green. And most of the tests here are in green state, right? So all these agents now act as another user in the network and run continuously ping, DNS, HTTP, and traceroute tests, okay, to different destinations. And this one here is the agent that Tim has next to him, okay?
Right.
I named him Allcom guy here. And you can see here that's been running all these tests for a while now. And I can click and see, hey, from Tim's office right now, the latency to Google is around 30 milliseconds, okay? Resolution, is doing pretty well. HTTP also to the same target. And traceroute, you can see here how many hops it takes to get to Google, and on historical, you can see now the hop-by-hop information, right? We see how things look like, and if things have changed, there's a routing change over the course of a period of time.
Now, Panos, right now you're monitoring IPv4. How much of a stretch is it to move to ICMPv3 or into the V6 world?
Yeah, I mean, this is another thing that it's down the pipeline for us. We're trying to build some features we think are more important right now in terms of functionality and testing. Right. And then moving, of course, to IPv6 is a natural evolvement for NetBeez.
Yeah, because right now a lot of people don't realize how much IPv6 is actually on their network because they're not using it, but the computers and everything in it is trying to negotiate for a neighborhood connection. So a lot of people don't realize that some of their major problems right now are, in fact, the IPv6 connection attempts.
Correct.
So I was just saying that I think that'd be awesome down the road, because we're starting, I mean, right now we're probably about 7% worldwide IPv6, and ICMPv3 is very chatty, and that can actually really nail your network pretty quickly.
Yeah.
This is awesome, though.
And really quickly show you how the wireless agents look like. So I clicked here on an agent that is in New York right now, Long Island, and you see here this agent is connected both on the wireless interface to run all the tests you see here, and on the wired side, again, it's connected, and that's how it communicates with the server, right? So we use the wired, reliable interface to talk to the server, and then we run all these tests on the wireless interface. And here, this view is pretty much the same. The additional information you get here is that you get information about the wireless channel interface itself, right? So you see here how much traffic is being transmitted over the wireless interface, TX rate and RX rate. You can see here the signal strength in dBm and the link quality in percentage. That's a pretty good connection. I mean, I guess the agent is next to the access point in this case. And then finally, you see on the lower plot here what channel the agent is connected to. That's the solid orange line, and this is a straight line because the agent is, it's a home environment here, so there's only one access point, so there are no like channel bounces or anything like that. And the bit rate again, right? So, but if you were like in a more dynamic environment on a campus or in a, that you have multiple access points, you are roaming around, you would see here how historically the agent might have switched between access points or also between channels, and how this has affected performance and like connectivity overall. So this is pretty much. I don't want to drill into too much detail here, unless you have more questions, guys.
What's the inventory button up at the far right?
Great. So here now we see a different view of all the agents connected. So it gives us the names and also some information like the MAC address, IP, gateway, and so on and so forth, and also what type of version they are running. Mm-hmm. And actually, I can mention here that the management of the agents regarding software updates and also the updates of the server, the dashboard itself, is being done automatically, right? So from here, once there is an update, it's being downloaded by your installation, and you see notification, hey, there's an update available, do you want to apply it or not? And all the agents in the server are being updated automatically through the dashboard without touch from you, pretty much.
Yeah, and this is all monitored data, not anything that people can go in and hack into a management system. This is all not vulnerable from the hacking standpoint. This is all just data.
Yeah. I mean, this is all like data, synthetic data created by the agents. So the agents don't capture any information. They don't store any information that like about what the users are doing there, right? And
right. Sure.
Yeah. So and the agents are they have all ports closed, so they are secure. They only connect outbound to your server. Mm-hmm. And the server can be either on-premise or we can host it for you on the cloud, right? So this specific instance you see here is hosted on Google Cloud right now.
Right. One thing that really pops out to me, the number one hack part of a commercial network is its applications. Usually, the internet applications are the number one places that are getting hit. Because they forget and they leave a lot of stuff open. This would be really great to actually constantly be talking to that application, that internet address, okay, and you could pretty much see pretty quickly that something has happened to your e-commerce site, your e-commerce application, which is how a lot of companies today make their money.
Yeah, I mean. E-commerce also for physical retailers, right? That they want to monitor their point of sale systems. They want to make sure that there's connectivity, because right now, if you lose connectivity to your payment processing system, you cannot process payments, right?
Right.
Yeah, both actually. You can monitor your virtual infrastructure with the virtual agents and your physical infrastructure with the hardware agent. So we try to cover all corners of your infrastructure network.
Yeah, I would call this the product that allows you to get a quick realization of the value of the efforts you put into your network. I mean, a network is something you work at all the time to keep it high, keep the best connectivity, give the best services to your users, to your business applications, whether it's on the internet or it's internal. And to me, this would be a great way to kind of evaluate the success of your networking expertise. When you're running a network, you want to see how good it is. And networks break, by the way, people. Can't blame it on just hackers. It breaks. And this just looks like an incredible product to monitor with.
Yeah, you brought earlier the baselining, right? And this is important, right? Because you don't know. You have multiple. Let's say you have 5 locations, 5 offices to serve and make sure the connectivity is there, right?
Right.
You want to make sure that you maintain what's acceptable in terms of performance, and of course, give your users the best possible experience. But at the same time, your office in New York might have a different performance, or let's say latency to Google or to the internet than your office in San Francisco, right?
Right.
And you can capture all that and be able to compare to see, hey, and make intelligent decisions when you want to, let's say, improve your infrastructure, and see after you make the improvements if what you invested brought the expected results or not, and accordingly adjust your investment that you do.
I mean, but like if I'm sitting in a meeting, I'm a manager, and my boss says, "Hey, we've got to deploy 600 new seats or something." How good is that network in Philadelphia? And you could pretty easily go out right in front of them and say, "Well, it's very busy right now. We're going to have to make some major changes to accommodate a major change in the network. It's not going to be something that we can do tomorrow. We got to go out and make changes." I mean, this is an incredible visualization tool, and especially with the Wi-Fi, because people forget Wi-Fi is an essential part of almost every network today. So I can,
yes.
and like for instance, if I have a big conference coming up, right, and I got my board here and I got a board there, and we're going to have a major meeting and it's very important. I mean, I would just send a NetBeez, box there and say, "Hey, plug it in so I can make sure everything is up and constantly monitor it to make sure that, quality assurance that everything's going to be working, or that everything is working." That's awesome.
Yeah, peace of mind.
Yeah. That way you wouldn't have to shoot yourself as often, right, when you're a network manager,
And yeah, another surprising, let's say, use case we found out that our customers discovered is that they use it for network change validations. So let's say you make a change at 2 a.m. all right, at a remote office in New York, at one in who knows where in San Francisco, right? And when you make the change at 2 a.m., you are not like 100% sure if everything went fine until users come in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and now your manager is going to wake you up from your when you went to bed at 5 a.m. in the morning and tell you, "Hey, come and fix whatever you screwed up last night," right? Yep. And that's because you don't have users there to validate for you at 2 a.m. what went wrong. So now, by having one of these devices acting as another user, an active user of the network, you can detect that on the spot and fix it there.
Right. That's awesome.
Well, Tim and I together, we see a lot of different solutions from big companies to small companies. The one thing that really strikes me about your product and your approach is really the almost the non-existent barrier to entry. I mean, it takes a lot more time and effort to argue about it than it is just to put one of your bees on the network and start, getting data.
We put lots of effort to make it as straightforward and simple to install and use, right? So
yeah.
Literally, I mean, Tim can confirm that. I shipped the agent, he plugged it in, and that was it, right?
Right.
And he called me right up and said, "Don't go to that porn site anymore." Right away.
So yeah, and then
so I think, and at the same time, the solution is very scalable. So it's not like, I mean, there are solutions out there where it's easy to use, but then you realize that very quickly you ran out of room. You can't grow with what they got, and so I think this is the somehow you managed to find that balance. It's a very refreshing approach. It's almost too simple.
It seems simple.
Yeah.
Trust me.
I mean, Ping is like the simplest tool that was invented 30 years ago, and it's I guess #1 use utility to when you start troubleshooting, right? Trace route the same, right? So it's simple but powerful, right? So,
and you don't occupy another socket. It's not like you have to unplug someone else to put your product in, right? So that's another argument that you don't have to have. You don't have to fight. Your customers don't have to fight between each other to get access to the network.
You don't have to go in there and say, "I've got to have a change order to get access to this port on this, switch." Just plug it in.
Well, anyway, we're coming up on the 30-minute mark. I like to close the show, but I also like to open up for the next show. I think let's just think of this as a I haven't seen you in a long while. You guys have been busy working, and so hello, and And congratulations! I know you guys just hitting out of the park right now, being selected again for the second time for Interop, but also on the financing fund, being recognized by some really world-class venture investors, some like Y Combinators. And there's something going on next week, right, on Monday, right? You some kind of announcement, right?
Yeah, I mean, we are releasing our new version
Mhm.
to our current customers, and we also just released a free tier.
Yeah.
So people now can sign up on our website. They can get their own cloud dashboard.
Yeah.
With including a cloud-based agent, and they can also install, if they have their own hardware, they can use, if they have a Raspberry Pi, they can run a command such as apt-get install NetBeez agent, and have their own agent monitor their home environment, their corporate environment, and play with it, right? So we'll be happy to see people signing up, trying out, and letting us know what they think about it.
Yeah. So we are one of the we'll have a few just a few more seconds. So one of the things that we're doing at Love My Tour this year, 2016, is to have a really strong partnership with Interop, and so we plan on doing a number of show for them, and they have plans to do to reciprocate for us at Las Vegas. So I was just going through your resource page, and you guys put a lot of stuff on it. And one thing that strikes me is that you actually have a presentation on your experience at Interop last year. So the two things. One is that I like to invite you back, in addition to what we already have planned for you. But in addition to that, I'd like to invite you back and just talk about Interop, talk about your experience, talk about you can talk about your product, you can talk about someone else's product. It's always good to have a newcomer, someone who's participating at the NOC for the first time, to really talk about what's going on there. And what we would do is we would host this as part of an effort that we have with Interop. And so I think that would be a win-win for everyone, win-win-win actually.
Yep, it would be.
The second thing I want to mention before I close is that having this partnership in place now with Interop, and looking at their tagline, which is that your network is your business. That's the tagline for network. So we're looking at that and do some introspection. We said, well, if that were the case, then we should have the same message, which is your knowledge is our business, right? Your network knowledge is our business. So with that in mind, I haven't really talked to Tim about this, but it would make sense for us to have a kind of a spin-off from LMTV. Would be something like LMTV University, and I look at your website. It's also I think it makes sense. We've done this with my past company, which is to have something like NetBeez University, to kind of group all your white papers and really use the education as a vehicle to educate your customer base. So if that's something that you're interested, I would definitely like to collaborate with you, and just easily take some of your white paper. You have here troubleshooting internet outages, monitoring wireless network. You got network monitoring guide to remote offices. Troubleshooting. There's just so much stuff. How to monitor DNS and cloud services. There's just so much good stuff that you put together. All we have to do is just run through some of that, and it should be a good thing, right, Tim?
Yeah, and one of the things I love about the DNS capability is DNS poisoning is a very common event today, and if you got them monitoring the DNS part, which they do, you can very quickly see if there's been any poisoning going on. I mean, from a security perspective, from a knowledge perspective, and we got Panos, and we got is it Panagiotis, and then of course we got Stefano, the good Irishman, Stefano, right?
Yep.
And I would also go one step further, Denny. I would love to plan that while you're at Interop in the NOC, if you've got a minute, to set up an interview from the NOC at Interop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
You
if you
guys
don't
know-
have enough bandwidth, you would know why, because you got the tool.
That's right. You'd know the problem before you even got on with us.
Yeah. Okay. All
Does that
right.
sound good, Panos?
Yeah, definitely. You know the interop guys. We know them. I think we're gonna find a good common ground there to talk with you guys.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. Well, we should close the show. Otherwise, it gets too long. But nobody will want to watch it until they get time on the weekend. And with that, any last word from you, Panos, that you wanted to say to our audience?
Well, NetBeez is free now, so if you want to play with it, just go to our website, sign up, and we'd love to hear from you. We also open our community, so people can post comments, experiences, troubleshooting ideas, and we heavily support that in order to build a community what will help us and the users in the community as well.
If
Yeah.
you would send me the link, Panos, Denny could, or send it to Denny, and he could include it in this final posting. Could you, Denny?
Yes, of course.
Yep.
Of
And then
course,
and
yeah.
that way people can know from here. They can go right to that link and sign right up and get their Raspberry Pi right up. I told my
Yeah.
wife I had a Raspberry Pi, and she says, "Why? You don't like Raspberry?" So we don't talk technology much. Panos, I want to say one thing. There's not a lot of companies that excite me anymore.
There's
and
a lot
there's
of stuff
not-
that excite you anymore, Tim.
That's true, I'm old. But I mean, there's not a lot of things in technology that excite me a lot because it's so complex usually. It's so hard, so difficult. And then here comes a company that makes it real simple. I mean, and yet very powerful. You take baselining to a whole new dimension. So I just want to say I'm excited about your products, your technology. I really, somewhere down the road, want to play with your Wi-Fi stuff. You can probably take this guy and fix it up for me so I can, and I've got all kinds of Wi-Fi devices. I won't go any further. I think it's awesome, and I think we need to get Stefano in here and Panagiotis. Is that how I say it? Panagiotis?
Yeah, he hasn't appeared yet here, but he should.
Yeah, we should talk about stuff because the people today are so busy they don't really get to delve into the technology. They're reacting to the technology, and reacting is bad. If you take a pill and you react to it, it's bad. We want people to be able to understand the technology and to be able to respond to it. And this is something I think a lot of people, thousands of people could use, not only to learn, but also to help protect their network and grow it with some kind of management and respectability.
Okay, all right.
That's
Thank
it.
you, Tim. Thank you,
my
Tim. Thank you,
900
Panos. And thanks to all your colleagues who are just outside the view of the camera. I know they're there. I know they're watching.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll say goodbye, and we'll see you soon. We actually have another company we scheduled for next week, so we'll talk about some other neat product. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day, and be good out there. Bye-bye.
Thank you.